So you want to get started playing the Pokemon TCG, but you don't quite know how to actually get started. Well, let's talk about that. Welcome back, everyone, to the TrueChampionSteven channel. My name is Steven Rodriguez. I'm your True Champion, and today we're going to be talking about how to get started in the Pokemon TCG. Quite specifically, me and my friend Jake from AtrociusGameplay are going to be talking about or answering some of the questions that a lot of newer players or people who are just starting either ask a lot or should have in their mind, because playing Pokemon isn't as easy as people think it is. It's not just get a bunch of cards, throw them together, and make a deck and have some fun. It can be that for some people, but not for the people that actually want to play the game and try to win. Me and my buddy Jake, we made two different videos. This video will be for more beginner players, literally learning the rules, figuring out the bare necessities when it comes to actually playing the game of Pokemon. And then the next video will be for more competitively minded or people who want to kind of take their game to the next level, let's say, and play the Pokemon TCG not only as a way to have fun and to experience an amazing community, but also to kind of win, and to kind of win consistently, and maybe even get to the Pokemon World Championships. If this video is something that's really excited to you guys and you want to check out more stuff like this on my channel, do not be afraid to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell for notifications so that you guys know when my videos go live for you. I love making videos like this because it literally highlights the best part about my channel, I think, which is I have always preached not teaching you guys not what to think, but how to think. And when it comes to a video like this, you can't get more how to think. So I'm really excited. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get over to me and Jake talking about how to get started in the Pokemon TCG. First of all, if you want to get started in the Pokemon TCG, you might need to know the rules. Here's a quick overview of the basic rules to help you get started. The Pokemon TCG is a strategic Pokemon battle, where two players send their Pokemon cards out onto the field, power them up using energy cards, and support them using trainer cards. Each player can have up to 6 Pokemon in play. Only the active Pokemon can attack, and the others wait out on the bench. Basic Pokemon can be played onto the field immediately. Evolution or Stage 1 cards can be played on top of basic Pokemon to give them access to stronger attacks or abilities. Attacks are fueled by energy cards. In order to use an attack, Pokemon must have the required amount and type of energy to attack. Players can only attach 1 energy card per turn. There are all types of energy costs, ranging from minimal to gigantic. Oftentimes, the stronger attacks require a lot more energy. Trainer cards can assist in many ways, such as drawing cards, binding specific Pokemon, or even manipulating energy cards. Each player must use a 60-card deck in the game of Pokemon. Just like the Pokemon video games, both players take turns attacking each other and dealing damage. Every Pokemon has a certain number of HP or hit points, which represents how much damage you can take before being knocked out. When a Pokemon is knocked out, a Pokemon from the bench has to become the new active Pokemon to take its place in battle. The player that scores a knockout gets to draw a prize card. Drawing all of your prize cards is the most common way to win a game of Pokemon. But you can also win if your opponent has no more Pokemon in play, or if your opponent has no cards left to draw from his or her deck at the beginning of their turn. This has been a quick overview to the essential rules to the Pokemon TCG. If you want to see more, then check out the links in the description below for a more in-depth look at the rules of Pokemon. Happy playing. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, TrueChampionSteven. I'm here with my man, AtrociusGameplay, and we're going to go over some really commonly asked questions about the Pokemon TCG and kind of how to get started and whatnot. This is my boy, Jake. Jake, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Jake. I run a channel called AtrociusGameplay where we play Pokemon TCG, and I've been playing for just a couple months, so I'm pretty new to the game. Hopefully I can bring in some quick tips and stuff for you all to learn on how to get into the TCG as well.
Alright, so the reason why we're making this video is because I get asked a lot of questions about what's the best way to get started, what decks do I need to get, what sleeves do I need to get, where do I go for tournaments, how do I actually play the game of Pokemon. A lot of you guys out there just see Pokemon cards in Target, buy them, and you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta start playing this game, but you really have no idea how to get started. Earlier on in the video, you guys saw a quick little synopsis about the rules of the game. If you don't already know the rules, I definitely recommend that you go back, rewatch that part of the video if you haven't already, because I really want you guys to have a very good grasp of the rules as we go throughout the rest of this video.
So one of the whys that we're making this video, when I first got started, I just kind of took a nosedive, blind eyes going into it, and I really had no idea what was going on. I honestly just got very lucky. So we're just kind of giving you a quick synopsis of things in this video. We'll have a part 2 video coming out soon, both of us, where we kind of go into a little bit more depth of like the competitive scene and how to get going into it. But for now, we'll stick to the basics.
For sure, my dude. That's right. Like you said, in the next video, we're gonna talk about how to kind of take your gameplay to the next level, become a more competitive player in the Pokemon TCG, maybe even get to the Pokemon 2020 World Championships. But we have some questions that need some answers. Let's go ahead and get started with that. All right, Jake. One question that I get all the time that I've honestly at this point I hate answering is, where do I find tournaments? What do you have any advice out there for newer players that want to try and find tournaments but don't quite know the best way to get started to looking for their local leagues? Because to a lot of parents out there, to a lot of kids out there, card shops are apparently a dying breed and no one can find them.
So one of the great things that Pokemon has made for the TCG is how to find events. So if you go to Pokemon.com, you just type in Pokemon.com up here and you click enter. You can go to this website right here, and it's got a lot of tabs up here. Okay, one of the tabs is going to be critical for you. You hit this light blue one, play Pokemon events. Once you hit that, you get taken to this page. It's got a lot of bright colors on it, but you scroll down, oh my goodness, what is this here in the green? It says find an event. So that is going to be great for you. You are just going to very quickly type all of these different things, where country you live in, what's your postal code, what distance, and then there's a bunch of check marks. What you'll want to do is you'll unclick the video game one, and then you'll click search, and from there you can do it to events, you can do it by distance, you can search by multiple ones per page, and there right here you just see a whole bunch of different ones. Obviously some areas are going to have more than others in terms of events, leagues, things like that are going on, but this is really great. It even breaks down the times, the days that they meet and that are happening, how far away it is from you, even the name of the league, so you can come in and I'm like, oh, I'm here for the FTG League to play Pokemon. And so this is a really great item for you guys to utilize when you're looking for different events, because I know when I started, I had no idea that there were local card shops hosting Pokemon tournaments and leagues and stuff like that in my area. So this was a really great thing for me to find what league was best for me personally.
All right, awesome. Just like he said, the Pokemon Company International makes it actually really easy for newer players to find local leagues so they can actually start playing this amazing game. Another question that I often get is, what do I actually need to play the game of Pokemon, or just go to leagues in general? What do you think are some of the necessities of starting the Pokemon TCG?
So one of the great things about Pokemon and the TCG is there's one simple rule. You have to have 60 cards in your deck. So that is very critical for what you need. And those cards will consist of Pokemon, trainer cards, and also energies, which we will dive way more into the next video. But a couple essentials that I feel like you need for your deck to make it all you and to protect your valuables. You definitely need some deck sleeves to protect your cards. You can do that over there. You need one of the coins, so then you can flip heads and tails in the beginning. You have poison and burn markers, which we will also get to more in the video. Also a GX marker for that. You obviously need dice to be able to roll heads, tails, and also have damage counters, which again we will get to more in the video. And then obviously you have to have a very nice and pretty playmat so you can play with your cards all on that.
All right, awesome, Jake. Like he said, there's all kinds of neat little necessities or little tools that you can use to not only play the game of Pokemon TCG, but also protect those valuable cards that you own, whether it be card sleeves, playmats, or card binders. If you want more information or you are interested in any of these products that we're talking about, I left links, like he said, to kits down in the description below. There are 3 tiers: the beginner, super cheap tier, the intermediate, a little bit more expensive, but a little bit more personal as well as kind of flashy tier. Then the third, competitive tier is what I'm calling it. Basically, everything that I deem necessary for a competitive kind of tournament journey. If any of those things interest you, I definitely recommend you check them out. All right, moving on to probably another one of these big questions that I've had is, what are some kind of myths that you've heard about playing the Pokemon TCG or the Pokemon community in general?
So one of the big myths that I've heard about the Pokemon TCG is that there are no such thing as good players. There are only such thing as good cards. And I really find that as a myth because yes, there are such things as good cards, but if you don't know how that card works, if you don't know what that card does, it's not a good card. You have to know what your card does. You have to know how it goes with the rest of your deck, and you have to know when and how to use it in order for that card to be that great card that it is brought up to be.
I hear that myth all the time. Everyone's always like, these cards are getting so much more powerful. I can't keep up. HP's going out of going crazy. I'm like, no, just get better and you'll be fine is my answer to all these kinds of questions. I've always been the kind of person that's like, hey, don't worry about what is good. Worry about how you can get better. And that's how you'll get better, for sure. Another myth that I always hear is kind of, the Pokemon community is really expensive to get into, and as an economist and as someone who pays for a lot of things that maybe I shouldn't be paying for, I can tell you it's not necessarily true. I mean, like anything in life, it's technically a hobby or some kind of thing that you try to make a part of your life. So if you make sure that your circumstances or whatever kind of profit you have or whatever kind of money you have, you can definitely play the Pokemon TCG. It might not be at the level that maybe other people play it at, but it definitely could be perfect with the kind of circumstances or kind of situation that you find yourself in personally. I find that the Pokemon community is actually very welcoming and easy for players to get into with very little barriers to entry, such as money or time. The reason why we're talking about kind of these myths of Pokemon is because, well, for me, getting started in any kind of thing, whether it be a TCG, whether it be a new sport, whether it be some kind of job that I'm getting ready for, I would kind of like to know if whether or not the things people talk about or the bad things about it are actually true. And while there are some things about the Pokemon TCG that aren't for everyone, I'll be making a video kind of about that in the future, talking about some of these things. I definitely wholeheartedly believe that it's an amazing investment of your time, of your kind of knowledge bank, learning how to get better, stuff like that, and it's definitely a good thing overall. What do you think, Jake?
Although there are good and bad things, there's bad things in everything, all right? You can take those aspects of those bad things, but you got to make it the most of what you want. So I really find the Pokemon TCG, it also really does have a welcoming community. It has a really heartwarming community. Now some of my greatest buddies are TCG players. I'm in this video right now with TrueChampionSteven, the man of TCG. And we're making this video together. 4 months ago, probably wouldn't have done that. 4 months ago, I wasn't playing Pokemon, but now here I am, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And it's like anything else in life. It's what you make it.
All right, awesome, perfect. It is what you make it, and I'm glad that you're trying to make it something that's a part of your life. If you didn't, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. Am I right? But time for the nitty-gritty. Let's talk about probably the most important question that people always ask. How do you make a good deck? What makes a deck good? Jake, do you have any advice on this?
So what makes a deck good is the different synergy, and it goes back to knowing exactly what your cards do. Okay, we kind of talked about knowing exactly when to play things, what cards go good together in different combinations, and just a lot of practice, a lot of trial and error, a lot of testing, playing against other people and finding out, oh, maybe this card that I think works actually doesn't work in here, so now I need to find a replacement. Practice is the best form of learning. Hands-on learning, I feel like, is the best thing that you can do in order to get better at something. So what better way to do hands-on learning than actually playing the game?
Oh, for sure, for sure. A lot of beginner players, once they start playing this game, they kind of just look at the most recent tournament or the most recent Worlds, and they say, look at this deck that won Worlds. It must have been the best deck ever. But really, there's a lot of other factors that go into what make a deck good. Jake mentioned a few of them. I'm going to mention a few more right now. For decks to find success, I really find that the most important things are power, potential, and kind of popularity. So a deck that wins Worlds might not win Worlds because it's really good. It might win Worlds because everyone's playing that deck. So just because that everyone else is playing a deck doesn't mean you have to too. The real trick to making a deck good is figuring out how to win with it. And once you do that enough times, boom, you got yourself a winning deck. It's really that simple. Like anything in life, especially with Pokemon TCG, getting started is as simple as figuring out how it's going to work for you, what you need, what you want it to be, and making it that way. That's the best advice that I could ever give to somebody beginning this amazing Pokemon journey. Jake, do you have any final things that you kind of want to let the beginners or the players at home know that they kind of are going to need to be ready for when it comes to starting this Pokemon TCG journey of theirs?
So a couple things that I would recommend. One, it's going to be bad at the beginning. You're probably going to lose a lot of games, but do not be discouraged, okay? So I'm a former student athlete, and so I know what it's like to go on the daily grind. I know what it's like to lose, okay? I know what it's like to get beat down by my opponent. And so you can't let that discourage you. You have to let that fuel you, to get better. And you know what? Make some friends at your league. It's going to be awkward. You don't know anybody there probably. But you know what? You guys both have a common interest that you can bring up with Pokemon cards. So that is just a great way to make friends. Again, I have a lot of good friends now in the Pokemon community, and if I can do it, my social awkward butt, you can too.
Well guys, that's it. How to get started playing the Pokemon TCG. I did make a video right around the time my channel was first created about how to play the Pokemon TCG. That was just an absolute disaster. Hopefully this video is a bit more suited to the beginner players out there that want to just get started playing the game. Again, if you enjoyed it, do not be afraid to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Thank you so much. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to stay tuned for the Get Better at Competitive Pokemon video coming out later this week if you are interested in taking your gameplay to the next level. But with all that being said, you guys, I have been the True Champion Steven. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and always remember to work hard, rest easy, and live well, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.